Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Listen, listen. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture, just to see how those incidents affect our daily lives. Listen, we are here to review Wakanda Forever. So, heads up. This is a spoiler review. I'm going to try not to spoil every little plot point and everything in the video, but if you do not want this movie spoiled for you, this is your opportunity to leave the chat, to leave the video, and come back after you have watched the movie. Once again, I'm going to give y'all a few seconds to head up on out of here, and then I'm going to go over and I am going to talk about this show. All right. Gave y'all 30 seconds, gave y'all enough time to think about it, whether or not you want to stay or not. So if you're still here, that means that it's going to be spoiled for you, and I don't want to hear it because I gave you 30 seconds. I gave you 30 seconds. So I'm not going to go over every plot point, whatever went on at the show. I'm just going to go over some of my what I liked, what I didn't like about the movie. But some, in order for me to do that, I do have to spoil some parts of the movie. So that's why I gave y'all 30 seconds to figure out whether or not you want to be here. So as the movie starts, we are looking at Shuri, and she's frantic. She's in the lab. She's trying to figure out what she needs to do because there's this big emergency. And the big emergency is that T'Challa is dying. And he asked Shuri to help him with his illness. And she believes if she can recreate the heart-shaped herb, that is going to help him be cured of his illness. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did they not give him the heart-shaped herb? He got the heart-shaped herb when he fought Killmonger in Black Panther. So I'm unsure as to why they needed for her to get why she thought another heart-shaped herb was going to help him when he already had that heart-shaped herb in his system. Now they didn't tell us what was killing him. They didn't tell us why he was dying. But it was to the point where he was sick to the point that he passed away. And that went for my first thing that upset me, not because of it's mentioned, but it's like, who are we talking about? Are we talking about Chadwick Boseman, or are we talking about T'Challa? Because T'Challa took the heart-shaped herb, and at that point he should be recovering from anything that happens to him. So I just don't like the death, using the death of someone real, or the person who played that character, as a plot point to move the story. And I will also tell y'all too that that is going to be moving the other characters along. It's always going to be a death, and that for me, it didn't sit well with me in my spirit. Not necessarily did it make the show unbearable. It just was, you were sitting in the theater, and I don't know, I don't like to be sitting in the theater where I'm almost about to cry every time. But anyway, let's move on. They have the funeral for T'Challa, and for it to have been like in the previews, it made it seem like they were having this really, really big funeral. It didn't really seem all that much. it's like they took his body to a certain point, and then it got sucked up into one of their ships, and I guess sent to the burial ground. I don't know how they what they do or how they bury their ancestors, but uh that's all that kind of came up to be. So this is just what there was a cool little scene in there, and I did enjoy the fact that Queen Ramonda went into the UN, and she checked all their butts. I thought that that was a cool little thing. I was like, yes, she humbled that ass. She straight up humbled their behinds. So then we get into the situation where how we're introduced to Namor and them, and that's what I'm gonna call them, Namor and them, because they weren't confusing to me. It's just that I crammed to understand some of the things about Namor and his people. But apparently there was this they people have gotten to the point where here's just the thing, and I guess this is a spoiler review, so I'm gonna spoil this. Ever since T'Challa came out and said that he would allow for the world to understand and know their resources, the world is like, where is our portion of the vibranium? We need vibranium. And Queen Ramunda is like, listen, we don't trust y'all. We don't trust y'all for real, for real. We don't trust y'all to take that vibranium and try to beat each other up, because we've been watching y'all. We know how y'all are acting. And remember when I said she humbled that ass? The French tried to raid one of their research facilities on the water, or mining facilities on the water. And, the war dogs let Queen Ramunda know. And like I said, she not only got all of those people together, and then she marched their behinds into the UN and marched them right in front of their French diplomat and say, see, we see what y'all was doing, but we're gonna let y'all know we see it. This is why we're not gonna share our resources as quickly with y'all as you all want to, because you all are trying to get to vibranium. Which leads me to how we run into Namor and them. Apparently the US or the CIA is out in the middle of the shit in the ocean, because they have this unit, that can detect vibranium in the area. And so apparently they have detected vibranium in the middle of the ocean. And once they did that, that's how Namor and them folks got up in there. And they basically beat the fool out of them folks. Killed all them folks. And so now the US is like, the Wakandans found out and they went out there to do it, but it wasn't the Wakandans, it was Namor in them. But they don't know that. No one knows that these people exist, and they've been existing down there in that doggone water. I won't get to how they do that. I'll leave some of that for them. But then this is how we are introduced to Riri Williams, because somehow, some way, Namor and them knew that she built this machine. They went to the Wakandans to tell them to bring this girl to them so she can be killed, or they kill the girl, because they don't want anyone to know how to find the thing. And here's what got me. You mean the Wakandans didn't realize that vibranium was nowhere else but in their place, since it came down on a meteor? That they're just now figuring out that, hey, that meteor could have broken off in a couple of pieces and landed in some places around the world. Okay. Let's see what else. So that's what was moving the story. Namor and them got into Wakanda, where no one knew that the Wakandans were there. I mean, that the Namor and them was there. They just floated down the rivers, I guess. And I'm kind of confused, because I thought Wakanda was landlocked, but I guess maybe it was a river or something. And they just flowed all the way through the river and came in and talked to Queen Ramunda and told her that she needed to kill this child. And we find this child over at MIT. And here's the thing that got to me, and it got to me, being as a Black American, how this young girl is out here doing all of this stuff. And I know that Riri Williams somehow, some way was connected to Tony Stark. and she's in school and she's making all these big projects and things like this. But Namor knew she did it when it was a school project she did. She turned it into her professor. I'm trying to figure out my words to say this. How Namor didn't know that? Maybe I missed that in the movie, but I couldn't figure out how Namor and them knew that that girl did this. That was like the, because it seems like they would have mistook the professor, and then they would have trickled down to realize it, and then the Wakandans would have figured out, no, the professor really didn't do it. It was this girl. We need to bring her to protect her. But no, he goes to them to put a hit out on this girl. I don't like that. I didn't like that. That didn't make any sense to me. That was a point that didn't make sense to me in the movie. And then, the movie is about pretty much them trying to save this girl from being killed. Ends up where they go and try to Okoye and Shuri go to MIT to get the girl to come back. They're confronted by Namor and them. So my thing is, if you knew where this girl was, why didn't you go and get the girl? Because they can't breathe it. They can't breathe the air. They have to get it from the water. But my thing is, you all can sneak into Wakanda. You mean to tell me you couldn't sneak into MIT? You're not gonna make me believe that. You're not gonna make me believe that. But you could be out on the thing fighting Okoye and Shuri and all this other stuff, and then you kidnap Shuri and you kidnap Riri. You had Riri in your hands. Why didn't you kill her then? Don't understand. But we're gonna keep going. Well, it ends up you go and you find Nakia. Nakia gets Riri and Shuri back. Also to Namor tells his story and how they all became who they were. And he gifts Shuri with this bracelet. Now, the bracelet, the fiber part of the bracelet is made from the herb, the heart shaped herb. Theirs herb is not heart shaped. It looked like a lily. That's what it looked like, a lily. So the herbs that they had looked like a lily, but it was still made from vibranium, and it did different things to them. Instead of just giving, he gave it to all their people, so they all could not no longer. Once they took that herb, they could no longer breathe the air like we breathe it. The only person that could breathe air like we breathe it is Namor. And then he mentioned something. I'm a mutant. How the hell you know you was a mutant when you've been like that since 1592? Seriously, because it was the 1500s when he became who he became. So he's been living around, he's been living down in that water for however long he's been living, 400, 500 years. How do you know that you're a mutant? But he says the words, I'm a mutant. Okay, we're going to continue on. So, Nakia saves Shuri and Riri. Namor goes to war with Wakanda. I don't understand, because you had this girl in your midst. Why didn't you kill her then? There was no way that Shuri was going to be able to protect her. Why didn't you kill her then? But let's move the story. It's just a lot of stuff like I don't understand. I don't understand how this happened. I don't understand how that happened. So then he attacks Wakanda, and his attack on Wakanda leaves Queen Ramonda dead. Baby, when I looked up at that screen and saw that woman had drowned in that water, if I could, you know how folks be talking about when they see their loved ones in the casket. It should have been me. It should have been me. Let me, they try. Baby, you don't know how I wanted to get to that screen. Not my Angela Bassett. Not my Queen Ramonda. There was no reason to kill her. There was no reason. But again, that is that thing about death pushing, the only thing that's going to push a character from Wakanda on is a death. And so Shuri had to see her mother die in order for her to, then she takes the strand and be able to synthesize a heart-shaped herb. She takes the herb, and now she's Black Panther, and now she's going to avenge her folks. She defeats Namor, and she doesn't kill him, but she defeats him to the point that he understands that they are a great power, because they figured out his weakness. I hate to keep saying, just trying to think. So when she takes her herb, y'all, you know she has to go to the ancestral plane. And baby, I was thinking she was about to see T'Chaka, uh, and Queen Ramunda standing there, her parents, and they about to give her all the advice. Baby, how about when she got to the ancestral plane, she saw nobody other than Killmonger. Baby, I was like, woo, they kept that secret, but it wasn't really secret because people thought that he was in it because they saw him some places or something around, something like that. But anyway, when they were shooting in, I think they were shooting in Atlanta. Some people saw him around in certain places that didn't have nothing to do with Creed and didn't have nothing to do with none of that stuff. So, baby, but he was there, and he's who she saw in the ancestral plane. And so he gave her some information about what she needed to do with Namor and all this other stuff. But this gets me to thinking. You think he plotting to get out of that ancestral plane? You think he plotting? But anyway. But that made me smile in the movie. So like I said, she defeats him, and at the end, Namor is like, because one of his disciples, one of his people, is like, we shouldn't have lost that fight, and he's like, no. He says because the world is about to turn on Wakanda, and they're going to need us to help them, and then when we help them, they're going to be, I guess he thinks that they're going to be under his control. I don't think so, but that's what he thinks. And that's basically the show. Like I said, the action in the show, perfect. The actions in the show, the underwater scenes, wonderful. I do like how the team, I like those little masks that Namor and them had on their face, because they, like I said, they can't breathe air. So they have this little mask that's stuck to their face like a scuba diving mask, but it's made out of something where the water is just circling around them. And they have, I guess they have a little small tank of water that they can breathe and do whatever they need to do underwater. I mean, outside of the water. Their kingdom underwater, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It has all those Aztec designs. You see a big old chunk of vibranium that's sitting above this building that gives them light under there, so they have enough light to see. But they're deep down in the water. They are deep down in the water, and it looks like they're deep down in the water and also like in an underwater cave. So you got to go into the cave and all this other stuff before you can get to them. But it was beautiful. Overall, go see the movie. It is worth the watch. There's just some things that I didn't understand as far as those plots, but now I do understand that Riri couldn't die because they have the Young Avengers. I think that they're going to do that type of movie, or it's going to be a Disney Plus series, if I'm remembering correctly. So she is on that series, so I know why she couldn't die. I just didn't understand how he had her in his midst, and he didn't do anything. It would have made better sense that they had been trying to find her and Wakanda was keeping her safe. I will tell you, without spoiling everything, T'Challa is still in the 616 MCU. All right, y'all. That's it. Cliffhanger. But go see the movie. I like the movie and I am prepared to go back and see it again because I think maybe I just missed a couple of those things that didn't make sense to me. So I'm going to go back and see that, but tell me what y'all think. Are y'all going to go see it? Go see it. Go see it. It is a good watch. Take your family because baby honey, babies that look like they was 6 months old and grown folks was watching the show, and I'm telling you them babies weren't even crying. They were so transfixed on the screen, so they were enjoying the show. So if you 6 months to 80, you will enjoy the show. Like I said, there was a couple of plot points that bothered me, but overall the show is good. I am just concerned about what they're going to do. That Are they going to recast T'Challa? Well, let's put it like this: they're not going to recast T'Challa in the 616. Okay, that's not going to happen. If we see another Black Panther, uh, it's going to be like Shuri or the descendants therefrom. But T'Challa himself is no longer in the MCU in regards to like Chadwick Boseman. Like I did say before, I know you heard me that T'Challa still exists in the 616, but you'll see what I'm talking about when I say that he's not going to be as effective to do anything uh in the 616. So if they make, I don't even foresee them making another Black Panther movie. I don't foresee that. I don't. I think once they put T'Challa to rest, once Chadwick Boseman died, they made T'Challa died. So I don't see another Black Panther movie. I could be wrong. I just don't see it. I don't see, if you're looking for a Black man representation, you're gonna have to get it out of Rhodey. You're gonna have to get it out of Sam as Captain America. But as far as with T'Challa, we're not going to see. I don't think we're going to see another Black Panther movie. We're not going to see another T'Challa, y'all. So I'm just letting y'all know. I think that once he died, they just decided that the fate was sealed when it was unnecessary. I hear that they had a full story about with the same thing about loss, grief and loss, and how to deal and move through grief and loss. That they were going to have T'Challa's funeral because T'Challa got blipped the first time, and they were going to do something in that effect, but they didn't do that. I think if they had stuck with that script, I think that we may have had the ability to have another T'Challa in this universe. But like I said, I'm not again. T'Challa still exists in this universe. That's it, y'all. All right. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think down there. Are you all going to go see the movie? Go see the movie. Go see the movie. It's a pretty good. It's a decent movie. It's an enjoyable movie. It is worth your 2 hours and 35-40 minutes. It's a good ride. I think I didn't realize we were almost an hour and a half in until I literally looked at my clock. I was like, "Oh goodness, I went to a 3 o'clock movie, so it was like 4:30 when I realized, oh, okay, we ain't rounding nothing. We just getting started." So go look at that. Like, comment, and subscribe. When you subscribe, you can then peruse all of my playlists of movies and television shows that I have reviewed in the past. I appreciate y'all. I really, truly do. And as always, people, bye bye.